Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. We're a little bit over 10 hours into my Kingdom Come Deliverance live stream playthrough. I've been having a fantastic time thus far. This game pretty clearly has a lot of upgrades over the original, and I know some of you will be interested in my thoughts, so I'm putting together this video. Keep in mind, obviously, this is not a full review. This is just, some quick hit thoughts after I finish with 10 hours in the game. So let's first start with what I liked regarding the experience. And I know this is gonna sound weird. This is an odd place to start a video, but this game has the best map I've ever experienced, bar none. The art is just amazing. For the most part, things are very, very clear. There have been a couple of times where I wish the map would let me zoom in more, but overall, it's just really, really cool. Everything is laid out exactly the way I want. Like, I've just never experienced a map that was this much fun to use and just to look at. Of course, I'm still in the introduction map right now. As I understand it, once you reach Kudenberg, there's a much larger map that becomes available. I can't wait to see what that looks like. And yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 also had a nice map, but this blows that out the water. This is way, way better. Big kudos to Warhorse for this. The game also has a fantastic intro. I don't think I like it quite as much as the intro for the first game, only because obviously that intro was so personal for you, with losing your parents, going back for your parents, and then still end up losing your sword in the process. All of that gave you such a huge personal reason for progressing through the game, whereas in this one, it's really all about survival, but obviously everything looks much, much better, and I thought it was really cool the manner in which they got new players up to speed with what happened in the first game. It basically uses these really, really cool dream sequences, and I do feel like dream or illusion sequences are kind of overused in games, but it absolutely fits here. I thought it worked perfectly, and I was not sure playing it myself whether or not brand new players would be able to watch these scenes and feel like they understood what was going on, but multiple people in my chat chimed in and made it clear, nope, this is all good, I understand everything, let's keep going. And so I think overall Warhorse did a great job of handling the intro in a way where it's engaging for brand new players, and at the same time, those of us who already know everything that happened before feel really good about it as well. Great stuff. Now, I've already mentioned that this game looks much better than the original, but it's worth talking about again. I mean, just everything from the armor to the faces to when you're riding on your horse out in the fields. It just all looks fantastic. I'll be honest, this is once again another weird point to make, but for me, the area where the graphics really, really hit home is at the alchemy table. I think using alchemy, it just looks and feels so much better for me than it did in the first game. I've talked multiple times about I was really, really bored with alchemy. I did not like how they had it set up. I feel completely differently in KCD2. I actually love putting together these different potions, the way you pull the cauldron down and all that. It's actually more manual than it was before. You don't even have the option for auto potions, but it just feels great. It just feels great. It looks great. It makes you feel like you're really an alchemist. I think they did such a great job with that. By visually enhancing it, it makes the overall experience so much cooler as well. And just all the way around, this game graphically is a big step up. Also, all the way around, the world feels more lived in, with people walking around and having dialogue about things that are actually happening in other places. It's worthwhile to listen to random conversations that spark up. Even if you don't actually get a quest or even a map marker, they might have a conversation that provides more context regarding a situation or gives you an idea about something you might want to check out. So it's just really, really cool walking into a new place and then hearing some of the different conversations to see what you can pick up. And when you decide to go into some of those quests, like KCD1, there are so many different ways to approach different situations. Whether you're going to go all out assault, try to talk your way through things, sneak, consistently, Kingdom Come provides you with a bunch of different avenues to complete your objectives. I love that. Helps me lean into my skills, or sometimes I'll lean into an area that maybe previously I wouldn't have even thought of just because it fits a particular situation so well. I also really, really like that the inventory now allows you to switch between different outfits. I almost never used this in KCD1, so I was sneaking around and trying to be charismatic in plate mail. Now I actually switch back and forth depending on the situation, so I have a whole dark outfit I can use when it's time to sneak into a place. I also have the charisma set from purchasing the gold edition on the game, and so far it's been really effective at assisting me in being able to persuade different characters that I meet. So all the way around, really, really cool stuff. I think the system is working well. And then the last thing I'll mention that I feel is much improved from the first game, and I know many of the KCD1 faithful are going to disagree with me on this, but personally, I felt like the music in the first game was rather mediocre. There are no tracks or sequences where I felt like the music really stood out or added to the scene. And I feel completely differently about KCD2. There have been multiple moments where I thought the music was really, really freaking cool. The montage where Henry and Capone are walking towards the first town, I thought that worked so well. And I'm looking forward to hearing more of the music that this game provides. There are a couple of areas where I feel like the game is not holding up quite as well, and it'll be interesting to see if I feel differently as time goes on. So first and foremost, while I do enjoy the intro immensely, and I think it does a great job of getting new players up to speed, in the first game, when you finally had complete control of Henry, where you could literally go wherever you wanted, you had the town of Ratai right next to you, right? And it was basically the trade capital of the entire area. And so you were able to walk right up, get a ton of quests, pick up a ton of new things, get yourself all geared out, train up, like almost everything you needed was right there. And you could literally spend 10 to 20 hours just in that town before you ever headed out. And I thought that was so cool and really, really added to the experience. This game is almost the exact opposite. You start in a town that has a couple of things that you need, but it will not be long at all before you really just have to go ahead and head out. And you're probably going to be woefully unprepared when you do. I like the aspect of desperation. The intro does a great job of making it clear that you're in a very desperate situation, but I definitely miss having that trade capital close where I could walk in and experience a large, huge city. It seems like they might be saving that experience for Kudenberg. So maybe I have to get off this map before I have that experience. But right now, it's definitely missed. Another thing that I have an issue with that didn't impact me, but I feel like it's definitely going to impact new players, is that once again, Warhorse has locked core fighting mechanics behind a side quest. And there's really nothing that makes that clear to the player. So those of you who played the first game, you already know martial strikes are not available until you're actually trained to be able to use them, right? And they've done the exact same thing again, except once again, the trainer is in a place that's kind of far away from where you are. It's not like it was in the first game where he's in the town that's right over. And so there's a lot of players who just thought, hey, this trainer quest is just another quest that I can complete at some time and run around doing a whole bunch of other things, not realizing, hey, I'm missing out on a significant part of the sword fighting experience because I haven't met up with this trainer yet. And I do feel like that was a mistake. I feel like martial strikes should have just been unlocked with the first little tutorial section you have with Hans towards the beginning of the game. And the trainer should have just been used to unlock more combos, because it's almost certainly going to confuse a lot of new players and make them feel like, well, man, I would have come to this guy much earlier if I'd have known. And some of these sections ended up being, you know, maybe much harder, but at the very least, I wouldn't have had my full repertoire because I didn't even realize this was a person I need to speak with. Personally, I think that was a mistake. And speaking of combat, to be honest with you, I consider it to be pretty easy. I don't feel like it requires a whole lot of thought. They have combos, they have perfect defense and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of my fights end up with me just wailing on people. You know, maybe it'll be different in hardcore mode, but you know, you do have to finagle a little bit to find an opening. But once you've got that opening on an enemy, you just go ahead and wail on them and they'll go down. Now, obviously, this is different when you're facing 3, 4, or 5 opponents at one time. I think I've faced 3 opponents at one time, but not more than that by myself just yet. But to be honest with you, overall, it took me a long time to get comfortable with combat in KCD 1. I think I probably was playing for about 20, maybe 30 hours before I finally really got it. And so obviously that experience helped me here, but it's kind of odd to me that already I'm annihilating bandit squads when I barely, you know, got real gear or really real stats, you know. So we'll see what the experience is like. Obviously, when we move to the full map, I'm sure we'll encounter a lot more heavily armored enemies and people who will give me a real challenge. And so we'll see if combat changes significantly at that time. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is, I know there'll be some people who disagree with me, some people who feel like, no, this is perfect, it should be cumbersome. But to me, it's just annoying. I think it takes way too long for you to get mud. I do. Pebbles, you can pretty much get immediately. Like, you could just, as if you know the place to go, you could just walk up and pick her up. Mud is a quest you pick up, and it's multi-part. I think I've completed like 4, maybe 5 parts of this freaking quest yet, and I still don't have my damn dog. and for me, it's annoying as hell. It feels like I'm missing a part of myself. You know, especially for people who play KCD 1 at launch, they probably don't feel that way because they never use MUT to begin with. But I didn't play KCD 1 until the end of December, so I already had the dog DLC, and I'm spent, what, 70, 80 hours walking around with my dog. To me, that's part of the Kingdom Come Deliverance experience. And so it just feels really off to be 10 plus hours into the game now and still not have my damn dog. I feel like this quest should have been a little bit shorter so that the player can become whole much quicker and then just do their general exploring and figuring things out. But anyway, those are my thoughts all the way around. Having a great time. I think it's incredible. Really enjoying the live streams. Hopefully you all are as well. I'll keep giving my thoughts on Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I'll probably do another video of this type around the 30-hour mark. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. More Kingdom Come Deliverance content coming. Of course, we'll be covering Avowed later on this year as well. So hit that like button down below if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.